Hello, you've reached the Department of Mara. This is Agent 16 speaking. How may I help you?
Yeah, can you come over here? He's on his internet, gossiping, running his mouth, all this stuff, neglecting his kids, neglecting his family. I don't understand what is going on, what's the problem, but he's gonna fool around and get shoutouts out here in these streets. I don't understand what is the problem.
If you a grown man speaking down on another man on the internet, you a weirdo. If you got a problem, tell him to his face. Please do us all a favor, step away from your cell phone. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. Yeah, R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. Yo, what happened to the world? R.I.P. the jack. Hard not to knock the hustle, but y'all hustling backwards. When did telling on yourself become a thing? The only ones that know that you be trapped should be fiends. They pointing guns at the camera, yo, they must be hard. Hell no, man, they the softest ones. I'm from the era you don't pull unless you bustin'. MC Breed told me ain't no feature when you're frontin'. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back.
So what the minutes, y'all? We rock best, y'all. The flow Teflon, and it sounds so nice. It's for the ones on the gram and the book going ham, but the man so shook that it sound like dice. Right? You bout as proven as pseudoscience. To you alliance with a few goons who's Billy Rubin's highest Jupiter skies, and I'm inclined to go scuba diving into who the food you and why, but foolish pride won't let you remove your disguise. R.I.P. the fake, the real is bad. R.I.P. the fake, the real is bad. And one monkey don't stop no show, so I'm campaigning cause it's time to bring them gorillas back. Check it, Barbara, fake is making you martyrs. You can hate me today, but you gon' pay me tomorrow. Folks controlling your page, looking for getting to borrow. Talk about running fades, knowing he ain't a barber. Oh, who's one to hammer to strike your starter, igniting all the fighting drama. You typing like you Titan or knight in armor, like you part of the Viking order, or more likely you might be piping harder than lightning farmers floating their kites in August.
R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. Yeah, R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. I remember back in the days when killers moved in silence. These guys move louder than Cali's finest. Don't look now, they're going live. Yelling at the camera, talking about a homicide. Tire played out Boosie, stupid whack. Don't you know that police look at that? They look at that. Computer thug and word to Roger Zach. This that royal set. The real is back. The real is back. The real is back. Yeah, R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. The real is back.
What's going on, people? How y'all doing this evening? Everybody good? Shout out to Roll Sat for the intro music, man. Good brother from Oakland. What's going on, y'all? I see y'all in the building tonight, man. I appreciate y'all for, rocking with me, man. I got to make sure that I feed the streets, man. So the real is back. Shout out to all the supporters and the subscribers, man. Listen, these past 2 weeks, man, I'm telling y'all, it's been crazy. Like, words can't describe how many people have been reaching out to me, just willing to build, network. I mean, people from my city, and folks, in other states and areas, man. And I'm telling y'all, I'm building, we networking. And if it ain't about that, I'm not supporting it. I'm not rocking it. All right. We already know about all the negative things that gets promoted and pushed, but tonight's episode is all about positivity. All right, guys. So if you're here for the negativity, go elsewhere. But tonight is all about raising awareness and giving the information out, man. Brother Timothy Taylor came through Monday. We had a hell of an interview, dope interview, if you ask me. And I got to make sure that, I give it to y'all, man. After this interview, I'm going to have a panel on. And we can talk about, whatever it is y'all want to talk about in regards to coding. My brother here, Mr. Timothy Taylor, founder of Brilliance software. And I think you guys are gonna really enjoy his story and what he has to say in regards to how beneficial coding can be when it comes to restoring our community. So before we get started this evening, man, I got to give a shout out to Jones Sounds, dope graphics, man, good brother who blessed me with the promo for the night, man. Shout out to him. Shout out Machiavelli Media. Shout out Tough Love. Gravity Takeout. Miss 504. Mouth of the South. Spitting Fire. Shout out Frankie Diamonds TV. Shout out Jim's TV. Shout out my brother Tazo TV. Shout out 7420 TV, also known as High Minds Think Podcast. Another good brother. Yeah, man. Like I said, man, Dello Flicks. Just shout out to the team, shout out to the network, and everybody else that come through and support the channel, man. So let's get it started. Hope everyone enjoy. Make sure you get your popcorn ready, man. We about to get started. All right. I'll see you guys after the premiere of this interview. All right. So let's get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You're now tuned in with Conversations with Rip Season 2. Today I have a special guest by the name of Timothy Taylor. How you doing today, sir?
Pretty good.
All right.
And yourself?
Man. Listen, man, I'm blessed. Monday is the start of a long work week, so it's time to get started. It's time to get motivated. For those who don't know, this brother right here, very humble dude, CEO and founder of Brilliance Software. Can you tell these guys exactly what it is that you do and a little bit about your company as well?
Yes. Here at Brilliance Software, we're a custom house. So if you think it, you dream it, we can build it from scratch. So we make all types of systems, websites, you name it, cybersecurity, data management, data warehousing, you name it, everything custom, we do. So, okay. We have a lot of big players under our belts. We have 100% guarantee rating, so, we've been around for 20 years and, we're going strong and we're expanding and yeah.
Man, that's always a wonderful feeling, man. You said over 20 years in the industry doing exactly, what you do. And, before we actually get into, the company that you run, man, I really want to just get into the upbringing, man. You said you're from New York, certain part, man. Can you tell the people exactly what part of New York you grew up in?
I grew up in Botavia, New York, population of 14,000, 5,000 population of, are minorities. So it's a pretty quiet area, nice area, small between Buffalo and Rochester, low crime rate, but there's really nothing to do there, because it's so small, but,
So
yeah.
What were some of the things you did as a youth, man? Some of the hobbies growing up in your community?
Just like everybody else, I played basketball, hung out with friends, obviously go, football games. And, I was a very athletic person at that time, in my youthful years. So, but basketball was, my main sport,
Okay. That's my sport too, man. I played the power forward in high school. I still play the keep in shape, man. That's all I do, man. That's all I do to make sure I can stay young to compete with some of these younger athletes out here, man.
Me too. I still play. I play in 3 different men's leagues, so I keep my skills up.
Hey, man, that's how the hoop style, man. You know how it is. It's a lifestyle, man, for the hoopers, man. So at what point in your life did you get introduced, to technology, man? When did you start becoming tech savvy?
To be honest with you, I didn't start getting tech savvy until, my late teens, where I was working in factories. I seen the technology there, working with big machinery, looking at machinery coming in and seeing it being programmed. And I'm not talking about, manually programmed, like a user, everyday user will use the machine. I'm talking about when the machine first gets there and they're putting the machine together and have to calibrate it and, put it together. I was so interested in, that has always interested me when I was working at, machine shops and factories. So, that's kind of my first introduction to technology, even though I was mainly, just like everybody else, an inspector, in this inspection department and stuff like that. So, that's the first glimpse of tech, that really, sparked me. But that was a few years after high school.
Man, I mean, that, some would say, you might have been a little bit more mature at that time period because, coming out of high school, you want to rush to be an adult, man. You live in the college years for some, you just get caught up and, fresh out of high school. Like I said, you just want to build your own lane. You know what I mean? You have that drive to be independent. So I guess I have to ask you, what was that moment where you knew this was your calling? What was that moment that you had to yourself when you were like, wait a minute, I think this might be the path that I want to choose?
Oh, when I was working at a company called Firth, Rixon, Monroe in Rochester.
Sorry, brother.
Working for a company in Rochester called Firth, Rixon. And I was putting in 110 hours a week, between 80 and 110 hours a week just to make, a decent salary, a decent salary. But I knew it wasn't a forever thing. I couldn't do that forever. And with that being said, one day, I went into the engineering department and I was good friends with a guy named Chad in there. And I was just asking him, with what he does, what is the highest paying engineering field, that is out there? And he just went off on the top 3 at that time. And he mentioned petroleum engineering, software engineering, and mechanical engineering. And with petroleum engineering, you have to go out to like Saudi Arabia. You can make crazy amounts of money, but you have to go to Saudi Arabia and, the oil fields and stuff like that. And I knew I couldn't do that. And,
Right.
Yeah. So I chose software that day. I kid you not, I chose software that day. And I remember being on, when I was working in the inspection department, we had to put the diameters and the inspection data into a computer. Okay. So while I'm on the computer, I'm actually looking up on Google, software engineering, software development, and all this other stuff. And it really interested me that day. So once I got done with my shift, I ended up, putting my notice in saying, I can't do this anymore. And went home that day and ordered 3 books off Amazon: Java, C++, and Python, which those are software languages. And I spent the next 3 weeks studying those books over and over and over again until I understood it, but I still haven't had any, knowledge to it, so that's kind of how I, got into software development at that point, so.
Man, that's discipline and commitment. I mean, did you find it hard, retaining some new information, seeing that at the time it may have been a little foreign to you?
Yes, it's like learning Spanish. It's like learning, it's seriously learning software is almost like learning a foreign language. But after time, you just it embeds in you. So I just ended up learning it, but I wasn't efficient in it until I got my first software gig, at Ametek Power Instruments, which is they dealt with the power industry. So I'm not sure if you guys know what oscilloscopes are and things like that. So they they measure electricity. So they were doing software for oscilloscopes. So that was my first software gig. And from there, I just started learning.
Man, that's wonderful. What are some hurdles and obstacles that you ran into, along the way, where you could have easily, you said, what, this isn't for me, but you stuck it through, and you persevered,
Yeah. Like I said, after those three to 4 weeks, well, I'll just say that month where I ordered the book the day I quit, and I ordered all the books off Amazon, and actually applying for a software job with no other type of knowledge other than these software books. Once I got actually into the job, it was difficult. And I can admit that it was difficult for the first 3 months. But just like any other job, a job trains you. They have to train you on their project, the project that they have you on, stuff like that. So the hurdle was, people with a background can jump in it right away and, take off right away. Whereas that hurdle for me, it was like, okay, it was difficult for the first 3 months until I got, on board and used to, software coding, software testing, and, understanding software data and how it works. And so that was probably the biggest hurdle, is, once you're in that first software gig, and on the job experience. So, that's probably the first major hurdle that I had to get through, into software.
Okay. How was your confidence level? What were you thinking to yourself? You now just been hired, for your first big gig. What did you think? Did you even think that you could, compete with your peers and actually be a person that's well respected in the company?
I've always had that confidence. That's what basketball teaches you when you play it organized basketball. You come in confident, no matter what you do. And I think, my high school coach, instilling that in me, my father instilling that into me. So going into anything, I'm fully confident. So, and pertaining to that job, I went into, confidence out the roof, because I knew I had the mindset where if it can be shown to me, I can do it. So I'm a visual learner. So those first few months where I was in training and, it was difficult, learning all the different data sets and things like that. But, the confidence was always there that I showed my peers and my coworkers, even the developers at that time, that I had the confidence because I was there with a notepad. I was there with, 15 minutes early to work, just to learn this because, they brought me in at a high salary, but I was really determined to learn this because I knew there was such more than where this job is at, in the software field. So, with me looking ahead, like, okay, I know how much time I'm going to spend here at this job. I know what it entails. I know what I'm going to learn, but I'm always thinking a step ahead. So coming in, my confidence was out the roof because I knew where I was. I knew the next step already after this job. It was just a matter of time, to get to that next goal. So,
listen, man, I only asked you that question because you'd be surprised at how many people actually have the talent. They actually have the potential, but their confidence is not where they need it to be. And sometimes, we can, fall victim of our own subconscious, that inner voice, that little voice of fear, that doubt. And at times we spend more times trying to convince ourselves we can't do something when in reality, you have to, clear all that out your head, stand straight and walk firm on your path. And like I said, man, I applaud you because again, it took many days and nights, many hours of discipline, commitment, sacrifice. And I'm a firm believer that, once you apply all of that to your everyday life and goals, you'll accomplish anything, you see fit too, man. So applaud, to you for just being able to stick it through, man. I don't really see coding being promoted in the Black communities. Do you have any thoughts as to why isn't, coding pushed on the inner youth as much as it should be?
I mean, I just think that there's a lot of different factors involved. There's, environment, how people grow up. There's good Black students in high school which it's not being mentioned to them in high school that there's software development out there. That's a field to go into, college. It's always, everybody's always saying, hey, go be a doctor, lawyer, the typical things but there's a lot more fields out there, especially with this world changing by the hour. It's not even changing by the year anymore. It's changing by the hour. Technology changed by the hour. Yes. So I just think there's a lot of different factors, like I said, environment where you grew up in, where you might not, hear anybody or mention anybody. You could be in the streets, everybody's talking about the streets, or you could be a good student in high school, but nobody's saying, hey, go be a software engineer or this or that. It's always be a doctor, lawyer, the typical, thing. So that's kind of what I see.
Right. Growing up, was it hard getting information, or at least access to certain information on opportunities and resources to kind of, better your situation, at the time?
No, there was access to the information, but what's the point of access to the information if you don't know what the information is? I mean, you don't know what it is that is out there. So,
right.
There's access to software development. There's information to software development. There's coding books you can do. There's all different things, but how do you know that it's there if no one's telling you this, this field exists, or, there's only a small minority, number of people in this field, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like,
No, you make a solid point. Today's conversation was brought up because of Kwame Brown stressing the importance of coding and how it can be extremely beneficial to our communities. Speaking to you earlier, you talked about initially you didn't go to school. At some point you had to, get some more education, some more experience under your belt. How was that, knowing that, all right, this is what I have to do in order to move to that next level?
And I'm going to be real with you when I say this. After that first gig, at Ametek Power Instruments, and I learned software development, I learned software testing, pretty much, the whole facet of software. I jumped into school, right? Went through school and realized it didn't increase my knowledge. It didn't increase anything. It didn't even teach me how to do software development at my first job. So it was a very basic level of software development that is being taught in these colleges, where all I simply did was order 3 books off Amazon and got a software gig. And now my knowledge is crazy. So when I jumped back into school, it was like, I know all this stuff already, but even knowing all of it, it's only a basic level. The people who are in school going for it, and once they get out of school, they're still going to struggle because you can't really relate that to on the job experience, because first and foremost, each software department is different, and different projects, but they're not really teaching that in school, where these major companies are looking for system development, but it's in college they're teaching a very low level that you can't even incorporate to these systems that are out here nowadays. So,
well, in your opinion, how do you think some of these universities can improve that?
By actually working with some of these major firms, IT firms. Hey, what is that you guys are really doing? How can we mimic those in a department in our schools? Actually really getting, their information on how can we teach what you need to be done at IBM? What can we teach at Xerox or all these other, major companies out there? So I think that's one thing, universities can do to really improve, things. So
No, I agree, man. I was reading and I noticed that originally the company that you run wasn't called Data Brilliance Alliance. Can you go into the original name and what made you want to change over to Data Brilliance?
yes, the original name was called Taylor Software Co.
Mm-hmm.
As I was in, reading those books on software development, and at my first software gig, I gained enough knowledge to do websites. So outside of me working for an employer and me learning software at the same time, I was building websites. I was learning and building websites now on my own outside of work. So I created a business, doing that. And eventually I got good enough to land a contract with the city of Los Angeles and a few other companies where I started now generating money outside of working for an employer. So that's and I started that name out. It was called Taylor Software Co. Then over time, I realized I needed more of an enterprise name. Like we always want to put, growing up, we always want a business with our name in it, Taylor this, or, Sean's Mechanics, or,
Right.
like something like that. We always grew up, we want our name in it. But for me, I was like, I need something that sounds bigger, bigger than my name, bigger than Taylor Software Co. So I started thinking, okay, I was like, I work with data, I work with software. And I got, in looking at my path, I was like, I'm a brilliant man with limited education doing all this. So I put it all together. So I said, Data Brilliance Software.
Wow.
And that's how I came up with the name. And now the name alone gets so much attention across nationally, and it's done wonders, me rebranding. So
Right.
that's kind of how I came up with the name.
I mean, and again, that's something you just came up on, on your own, or did you do some research in regards to branding and things of that nature?
No, I didn't do researching on branding. Be honest, when I came up with that name, I had little experience with branding. That's a whole nother, field with branding.
Right.
So, but yeah, I just had it just came to me one day. I was like, okay, I have to quit telling people, because even though I was basically doing these websites out in my mother's basement, because I was living in the basement at the time, it sounds like I'm working out of a basement, at my mother's house, Taylor Software Co. It just sounds like a little thing, so Data Brilliance Software sounds like, okay, this company is working with big data, and, they brilliance, it makes sense, so it sounds bigger, it sounds enterprise. It sounds like an enterprise. And so that's kind of how I came up with it.
It says here, man, your first year, you accumulated over 350 grand. How was it, in the beginning, that first year, man? It's really hard to, reduplicate that feeling, man. Once you're up there, you're now fully moving, thriving. But how was it, man, in the beginning?
In the beginning, it's all about the next level. Remember, I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always thinking a year ahead, 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead. So when it comes to that, it's like I started getting, all these major projects, after, 8 months of, working hard, learning everything on the job. With the software books I was ordering off Amazon, also doing these websites behind the scenes. So I just got really good at it. And I just started landing major gigs. So like I said, I landed, the city of Los Angeles, doing a project with them, Cleveland Clinic and some of these other companies. And like I said, I accumulated 350 or 375 my first year. And being that young with that type of money, you're going to mess up in a little bit, never seen that, but mess up
Right.
a little. But for me, I've always thought 10 steps ahead. So what I did was put that money back into my business and started hiring people. So now I'm bringing people on board, lessening my role, and expanding my business. So, so I had ups and downs, but it was pretty up that year, financially. But, you make some dumb purchases outside of work, but, but yeah, it was up that first year. Then I put the money back into the business, and that's what I kept doing over the years. And that's how I kept expanding. So.
How did it feel being able to create opportunities for others, all from an idea that, you work so hard on? Some people, they like to be hands-on so much that they don't want to bring anyone else on to their baby. It's kind of a defensive mechanism. But for you, like you said, man, you're growing every day. And like you said, at some point, you can't do everything by yourself. So how did it feel, man, knowing that you're in a position where now you can create jobs for other people to bring on board and now be more, effective at exactly what you do?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good because, working for all the major companies in New York and IT departments, you see most of the departments are Indian people of that culture, or white people. And so with me growing, I was specifically looking to be a diverse company, not a fully Black company, not a fully Indian company, personnel, but yeah. So, and with my experience working for all these, the Xeroxes, the Ameteks, you see there's a lot of Indian based. And so for me, it was like, I specifically am targeting different cultures who have the background, and to bring them on board. So now, I'm very diverse and I'm very happy with it. I have diverse management. I have diverse senior management, giving minorities a chance for, CFO positions, COOs, CTOs. So I'm very happy and blessed to give out roles like this, to different minorities, different cultures, and be a diverse firm here.
Man, it's like I said, man, certain words really can't describe those type of feelings. All you can really do is give praise and glory to God, for putting us in a position to make an impact with the short time that we have here. I read that, you're very charitable. You give back to the community. I mean, how does it feel to, grow up in a community and now actually be a role model for others, to pretty much engage and get active in their communities?
I mean, I feel like I'm truly was here put on this earth to inspire. And with that, I'm always in the community. I'm always, I'm not one of those guys that, okay, I want to hold all the secrets and be on top. I don't want nobody else to succeed. A lot of people can get hold of me easily, and I give out information. I give out my story. I give out, where to start at, what are the most updated software languages you should focus on, what part of technology is growing. I give out this information for free, and I don't look for nothing in return, and that goes to even my charitable stuff where, during the pandemic, I went to Strong Memorial Hospital and paid for everybody's meal, all these essential workers there. So with, me making, this now being a multi-million-dollar company, I'm at the point where I can give back and do things like this, do things like donating. I just recently bought, $30,000 worth of flowers, $30,000 worth of flowers, and donated them to all the nursing homes in Rochester, New York, just to, see a happy face, in some of these residents there. Even donating my time to the animal shelters, even donating times to, some of these movements that are going around and for reform and things like that. So you know, that's just me giving back, and I enjoy it, you know, and that's how I stay blessed, because, you know, I do things like that. And there's one thing I also do is every contract that I bring in, I give 10% of that to the community. So somehow we think of something, you know, something new every month or every couple, you know, couple of times a month, and give 10% of my contracts to the community and give them back. So it makes me feel great. You know, a lot of the stuff that we do is we'll go into grocery stores like Wegmans or Burlington or suit shops, and we'll see families, and we'll just walk up to them. We got this. We're going to pay for it, you know, and stuff like that. You know, I just wanted to be outside of giving back. We also give book bags, but I wanted to do more than that. So, yeah, but it all makes me feel great, because I feel like, you know, I inspire a lot of people by the masses, and it's my calling. So,
listen, brother, you're doing exactly what God wanted you to do, and all I ask is you to continue to keep leading, keep being that example for others to do great things. You know, how was it, you know, with your, I'm assuming your parents definitely are proud, but, you know, do you always keep them, you know, near and dear to heart when you're out here doing what you're doing as an adult now? You know, it's funny, man. You were just a child, you know, playing video games, and now you're a grown man, you know, a part of one of the, you know, best companies in the world, you know, doing what you do. Like, how does that feel, you know?
feels great, just to hear that your parents are proud of you, and see where you came from, and, you know, see the dedication from the time you're a little boy to, you know, now a grown man. You know, I lost my father last year, but I got a chance, you know, once he passed after I hit the multi-million-dollar level. And he got a chance to see me, you know, hit that goal that I said, you know, I was going to hit when I was 19 years old. So, and hear him say, "I'm proud of you," even when we were in the hospital, you know, before he passed, and he was in the bed, and he was like, "I am very proud of you," you know, and, you know, it's just a great feeling to have, you know, when your parents say that, and I've always believed in you, and
Listen, man, you know, first and foremost, my condolences, you know, my father, man, he's very important in my life, you know, at least get me to this point. And this is exactly why I do what I do. But you know, we work real hard, and sometimes you forget to bask in the moment, and you have those moments where it could be the smallest things, the smallest gestures that make you appreciate everything. I just want to I guess I have to say, you know, how can coding improve some of our communities, man, moving forward? I mean, like I said, coding isn't talked about a lot, at least on mainstream platforms in schools and things of that nature. It seems like we're conditioned to only talk about entertainment, athletic, you know, sports, things of that nature. I mean, in your opinion, you know, how can coding be very beneficial, you know, to our communities?
Coding is very beneficial, because you're creating life, you're creating your future. You know, technology is our future. You know, you can't even deny it. You know, everything's technology. You know, who knew that we'll have watches controlling our organs and in every step, or, you know, walking computers, you know, so tablets and stuff like that. So technology is here. Now we got hover cars in Nevada and stuff like that. So with coding, you know, everything needs coding, you know, so it's, you know, you're creating the future, you're creating, you know, the next big thing, or you're creating, you know, life. And, you know, it's very humbling once you put a project together, you know, so that means choosing the right language, you know, with that project, you know, housing code, how you're going to house the code, you know, the project, you know, and figuring out, because coding is figuring out problems, and the love to figure out problems and to also bring something to life, and to, bringing that to how it elevates the community is because you're creating technology. Imagine creating something that the whole city uses,
Right.
Creating something that can help people. I can elaborate on this. We just created a project that gets people pre-approved for all the government services, like your SNAP, your WIC, and all that. We get you pre-approved. We created apps like this, and now it makes me feel good because it's for the community.
Right.
Why walk into a government agency and get turned down where you can use this app and get pre-approved, and what you qualify for before even walking into the government agency. So that's a project that we have created, and it makes me feel good because it builds the community. Now it saves people trips.
Right.
Yeah.
Less stress, less hassle. You're right about that, man. Those long lines, no one wants to have to go through that. So that is definitely a great invention. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, even, we have done another project where a pantry came to us, and we developed a delivery app. So during the pandemic, it was very hard for people to get out in the community when basically outside was shut down. So the pantries had to go to these different locations and deliver food, but it was such a hassle that we created a app that actually tracked, people will put their orders in, and we tracked, the vehicles, the pantry vehicles going around to each housing location. Then we took that data and we made it more efficient, how to get there quicker, what are better routes, and things like that. So, when it comes to coding and technology, that's how you improve your community, environment and the culture. That's what it's doing for me.
Right. You spoke on the pandemic. I mean, was it a tough adjustment, getting through the whole year 2020? We know the economy was definitely suffering a lot. I only asked that because it seems as if we've transitioned into a new age, a new economy, if you will. And you talk about the importance of coding or just the importance of technology. I mean, did your company, thrive during the pandemic?
Yes. So with coding and technology, you got to figure when the pandemic hit, everybody went from working from home, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody's on their computers, everybody's on their phones, everybody's on their tablets, everybody's on software because everybody's working from home. So tech companies and software companies like myself took off. Meaning we had projects coming in daily. I know some people struggle during the pandemic, but if you're in the tech field and the software development field as a company, you took off. You did great.
High demand. And that's the reason why I asked the question today, to inform, the folks watching that this is the way of life. This is the future moving forward. So you have to figure out a way to make money utilizing the technology that we have today. Again, growing up, you didn't have access to all the technology that we have now. And people such as yourself, you're now creating apps to make things more simpler, right? So now in a world where you had to, get those 3 books and study all the languages, there's apps where they do all the hard work for you, right? So like I said, man, just having you on today, I've learned so much. Hearing your story, I'm motivated, I'm inspired to continue down the path that I'm on. And I just appreciate you coming on. How can people, become more involved with what you do? How can they get your information, where they can find you, if you will?
Yeah, they can find me at Instagram, Facebook, obviously my website. My website is www.databrilliancesoftware.com. You can read all about what we do, all of my team's bios, my senior management, Instagram at Data Brilliance, software, Data Brilliance soft, with Facebook, it's Data Brilliance software.
Mhm.
So, you can go down many different avenues to find me and software and Data Brilliance. And you can call me directly, too, as well. And I'm not one of those people that, you can't get a hold of. You can get a hold of me. My company phone number is 585-512-9524. I'm available. Information, projects, my team's here. So that's the contact information.
Okay. What is some advice that you would give, some of the youth today in school that may be interested in, starting in the path that you're on today? What are some things that they can do to kind of start this journey and get the ball rolling?
Yeah, just some advice is, if you're really interested in software development and technology, that it's a very big field, meaning you can start anywhere. Meaning you can start as a software tester, or you can start as a developer, or you can start as both a software tester and a developer. Right. Then you can, let's say you choose one of those sides, then you can go down, there's embedded software, meaning, software that you can develop and put into like medical machines or remote controls or oscilloscopes. That's embedded software. Or you can do like software apps. You can go any type of way. So, you can get your foot in the door any avenue. So with the advice, don't look at, okay, software, I got to be in strictly development, which you don't have to. You can start out at a lower field, like software testing. And if we're talking financial, even software testing, they're paying you a minimum of $40 an hour. Mm-hmm. So my advice is, when you hear software development, don't think of coding and all this other stuff. When you can be a piece of software development too as well. So
no. Before we end, man, I just have two questions to ask you. First one, I gotta ask, knowing what you know now, getting to this point, if you could go back and talk to a younger version of yourself, what would you tell him?
I did everything right. I wouldn't change anything. My path, I wouldn't change getting my first software job before college. I wouldn't change how I did it. I wouldn't change quitting my job. I give advice, make sure you're in a position to do something like that, before ever doing something. But telling a younger self, I wouldn't change anything that was in my path. So, okay.
And my last question is, what is the mission with Data Brilliance software, for the next 15 to 20 years? What is your end game? What is your goal moving forward? What is the vision?
My goal, my vision in the next 5 years is to bring in over 100 employees, different cultures, keep expanding diversity, and to also hit over 100 million in a single year. So that is my goal, and it's a very realistic goal. Very realistic goal. I could say that.
Yeah. I mean, you've worked, so hard to get to this point. So, continue, on the path that you're going. I mean, I don't see why you won't be able to accomplish that. Like I said, you seem like a very humble dude, a guy that's more than willing to give back, discipline, hard worker. I mean, all of these are the ingredients of success. Like I said, I'm just proud to have you on my platform to be able to raise awareness to some of the viewers that tune in with me on the daily. Like I said, brother, I appreciate you for coming on, Mr. Taylor. And moving forward, man, and anything that I can do to continue to promote your brand, your vision moving forward to help elevate and raise awareness within our communities, man, I plan on doing so,
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Come on, man. Like like I said, we always catch so much flack and negativity about the very limited depictions of our people. So it's important that, you know, I interview our people in so many different lights and avenues. And like I said, man, it's just like I said, it's just an honor having you on, brother. And I look forward to building with you again. What we will do is premiere this live, and hopefully you will come on, answer a few questions, you know, for those who have you know, any inquiries about, you know, how to get started in the field, man. So like I said, man, flowers to you and your journey. I wish you nothing but peace and prosperity moving forward. And any last words before we go today?
Thank you. And just one last, you know, a couple last words is, you know, to the viewers is, you know, take that leap of faith. You know, if it's, you know, if you're scared to jump into technology, just do it. You know, if you're jumping into entrepreneurship, just do it. You know, don't be one of those people who go years of saying, oh, I should have done this, should have done that. You know, I waited too long or whatnot. You know, take that leap of faith. That's what I did. I took that leap of faith. So that would be my last few words.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now done with the episode of Conversations with Rip. My name is Sensei Rip, man. I'll see you guys later. All right, brother. You have a good day, and I'll see you at the premiere.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Talk to me, y'all. Huh? Talk to me, man. Did y'all like this episode? I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I know we love entertainment. We love the, you know, the negativity and all that stuff. But this one right here, y'all, this was a good episode. So much that I have a treat for y'all this evening. All right, brother Timothy Taylor is here. He will be answering a few of you guys' questions. So please hit the link in the description if you want to come on, ask Mr. Taylor a few questions. So let me go ahead and bring our brother on. How you doing, brother Taylor? How you doing?
How you guys doing?
Listen, man, you know, phenomenal episode, brother. You know, once again, man, I just gotta, you know, applaud you and, you know, just let you know, man, I appreciate you coming on, educating some of the viewers. I enjoyed the episode, and a lot of people.
Step outside real quick.
Oh, it's cool. But yeah, a lot of people in the comment section tonight, man, was giving you your flowers on your journey, brother. So just you know, expect some emails tonight, tomorrow, people just reaching out, you know, want to embrace you and get some information.
Okay.
All right. So how you feeling? You got your chain on tonight? Everything good, brother? You shining? You know what I'm saying? You all right over there?
All right. Sorry, 1 second.
It's all good. I got another guest coming on. My brother Delvon, Rooks, you know, founder of Deloflix. My man.
You guys doing?
What's going on,
Hey.
Del? How you doing this evening, brother?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great, man. We got a nice size room tonight, man. We got positive brothers on, positive energy. I just want to keep it going, man. Is there anything you want to talk to Mr. Taylor about, you know, while you're here?
Yeah, actually, I really enjoyed this episode. Thank you for your transparency. Congratulations to your multi-million-dollar company and overcoming the odds. Really, I think that your story is very helpful to the masses. I guess my biggest question is, how do we overcome the understanding, like the value of coding with the younger generation? I think, let me tailor my question a little bit better. So looking at how people perceive coding with the younger generation, they're like, it's for nerds, it's for geeks, right? It's not really, you know, it's not my thing. How would you respond to that generation that perceive coding in that way?
Okay, coding might be not their thing. So I would respond by saying, okay, what is your thing? So is your thing changing the future? You know, is your thing helping people out, or across those lines? So see what their aspiration is, because with coding, coding goes to everything. So you can create an app to help people out. You know, you can create a system, you know, for your true calling or something like that. You know, so coding, it pretty much leads to the future, or, if your aspiration is not into coding or software, coding can lead you to get to that next level that you're trying to get to. So that's what I would say. Coding, you might not like coding, but coding might let you change the world with this app that you had an idea of.
Right. Absolutely. And I guess when I think of coding and the struggle with coding being understood, I think with our younger generation and our community specifically, I don't think they really understand the value because they don't understand the effects or that projection that you're seeing in the future. With all these apps popping up and all these businesses benefiting from like these apps, like you have Uber Eats, you got Uber, you got Lyft. I think it's definitely helpful having you on the platform today to speak to that value.
Yeah. Let me piggyback off that. So a lot of these younger generation and people are not seeing that a lot of companies are quitting the brick and mortar, meaning, there's no, let me rent out a 5,000 square foot building to employ people, where a lot of this is, a lot of companies are going home based, especially with the pandemic. Everybody went home based, and they're realizing people can work from home. So why spend $1,000 a month on rent and, when everybody can work from home? So with the younger generation, when I say that is they're not understanding that you don't have to actually go on site anymore. You can actually work from home and live a life and all these other things. You can live your life while working, and that's what coding and software development does provide.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
Listen, man, we got I don't know how do you say this, brother Ish? Is that how you say it, brother?
There you could say different ways. You could say shot, shoot, shut.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining the stream, man. Is there anything you would like to say to Brother Taylor while we got him here this evening?
Oh yeah. I just want to say, man, like you pretty much motivated me to keep going, because I started coding about a year ago, and I wanted to get into software plugins, and so I kind of like backed away from it, because I there's so many different languages. There's like C++ and Python and all these other languages and such, Swift. And like some people have told me, if don't learn C++ because you're kind of going, nowhere with it. And then some people tell me, learn Python. And so like my question to you is, as far as languages go, how many is it good to know, like offhand? And like which ones would you consider to be like the languages to get down to the T?
So to answer your first part, it's different. Each company is different, so whatever the company that you're working for or whoever, they might use Python, they might use C++. So there's not really a way to, it's hard to say. So there's not really a way to, let me stick with a certain language, because once you know one coding language, you pretty much know them all. It's just the syntax of it. Mm-hmm. It's just how to write it. So hi, if you're trying to say hi, but you're saying hi in Spanish, Portuguese, you're saying the same thing. It's just you're spelling it different.
Okay.
So as long as you know one coding language, you pretty much are going to know pretty much all of them. It's just changing the syntax of it,
Okay.
how you write it. So to answer your first question, it's, once you learn one, it doesn't matter which one, as long as you learn it, you're going to learn the other ones, based on what project or what job you're at, or, so. And what was your second question?
I mean, well, that was the main. I think both of my questions were basically the same thing.
Okay.
But
is there a specific one?
Actually, if so, for like job interviews, like I know the basics, show up on time and show up with a notepad and such. But how do you deal with like the anxiety? And like, how do you deal with the idea that they might not pick you?
Can you say that one more time?
So for like job interviews,
Yeah.
like how do you deal with the anxiety and such?
Anxiety.
So like if you're going for an interview and you're in front of the team, and so like they're asking you questions. For me personally, when I'm in interviews, I get anxiety and I kind of.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. Because
I mean,
during the
with interview, it depends how seriously you're taking that job.
Oh,
if this is a serious job that you really want, you're going to study before. You're going to study what you're going to say. What you're going to do, what you're going to dress, how you're going to do your hair. All before the interview. So that's pretty much the way, how to alleviate, the stress, the anxiety is you're practicing for hours before the interview. And I'm talking days before.
Mm-hmm.
For stuff to embed in your mind, it takes about 9 hours. So for me, I'm reviewing my background. What did I do in the past? What I learned at different jobs, and going from there.
That was great, man. I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and like I said, it's all about preparation when it comes to interviews. From the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, the way you handle things, the way you talk, your past experience. In these interviews, I wouldn't talk as much. Let's say you went to college for coding, software coding. I wouldn't even talk about that. I would just talk about the job experience, because that holds more weight than that piece of paper that you went to school for.
Yeah.
Hey, Timothy, can I add to that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Really quick, just based off of having some experience with staff in the staffing industry, the main thing that during your interviews, when they bring you in through a call, they're looking at your skill sets. But when you're doing face-to-face interviews, they're going to mainly look at the behavioral questions. How do you fit with the culture? So, of course, they already brought you in because they trust that you can do the job. They want to see how do you fit in culturally at that point. So say things that's catered to helping them understand and feel and believe that you're going to be there long term. Don't ever say something like, hey, in 5 years, I'm going to have my own company. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear, in 5 years, eventually I see myself taking on a manager role and getting more responsibilities and helping the team and contributing that way. They like that type of stuff.
Listen, man, we got a few other guests coming on, man. My brother, Gravity Taker, how you doing, brother?
Man, love, my brother. How you doing?
I'm all right, man. You see, we over here building, man. We got a hell of an episode with a hell of a panel tonight, man. Talk about it. What were your thoughts on tonight's episode?
Hey, man, I want to start off by first saying I like what you're doing, bro. Just putting people together and trying to, expand the mind. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the same as how we talk behind the scenes, I believe what you're doing is a great thing, man, to continue to build these brothers. Everybody got difference in perspective and routes of going about doing things. But at the end of the day, as long as they're talking to the youth and trying to tell them different directions and how to carry themselves to continue to grow, I believe it's always a great thing, you know what I mean?
Listen, man, that's what we about here, Forgotten Kings TV, 2.0. Is there any questions that you wanted to ask, brother Taylor, while we have him here?
It's not really very many questions I want to ask them, because at the end of the day, I like for those guys to speak on their expertise or what they know more than maybe me or you may know about different things. And I feel like they have done a great job of doing that.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
Yes,
it, man. Brother Taylor, someone in the chat asks, where would he recommend an 11 and 13-year-old to start with coding? And is there an online app and program that isn't expensive for kids?
Actually, there is. There's actually coding programs out there for kids. I forgot the name of it, but there's actually what they do in some of these programs. It teaches kids to put pictures together. So when they are like putting pictures together to make one picture, then it hits. Once you click on the picture, it will show the code behind it and how to do that. So those simple programs, and they're even free on the internet. You just look them up, and but there are programs. Off the top of my head, I can't name one right now, but there are programs because my son does them too.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate the information. We got other people trying to join on. Shout out to the chat for asking good questions, man. You know, time is money. We got the brother here. He's shining. He's feeling good this evening. So y'all better ask all the questions you can, man. Jim's TV, talk to me, man. What were your thoughts on this evening's this episode, brother? Gotta unmute your mic, Jim's TV.
So I didn't get to watch it in its entirety, but I've been hearing about coding for a good minute now. And what I would say is coding is like an opportunity for anybody. So if, you know, people always arguing about resources and things like that, that's a resource. That's a skill that can be developed. So when you're developing a skill, it is useful over time. You know, once you develop it from a trade to a skill and vice versa. But people have to understand that, you know, it's not an overnight thing. It's not instant. Everybody wants instant success. You can't have instant success without work. You have to put in the work effort. So once you put in that work and you develop those skills, that can be used to teach and train other people. That's how you build a better society. So when I hear people like Kwame talking about trades and coding, it makes sense. You know, you're supposed to have something to fall back on. If your acting career may not work, your music career may not work, you need things that are in place for you to develop into something else. If that first plan doesn't work out, there's nothing wrong with a plan B, C, D, or whatever. But those are resources. So when you give that to kids at a young age and they've had 10, 12, 20 years to work on it, by the time that they are adults, they can do whatever they want to do. They won't need to be, you know, have their hand held through life. They can have something that they can always fall back on, which is a skill set. And that's, you know, that's what I would say.
Quick thing, brother.
Thank you,
if y'all mind me jumping in.
Go ahead, brother.
Hey, I just want to say this, man. Most importantly, I believe more important than anything, I believe the trades is more important, or just as important as coding. Because you know, at the end of the day, like I said before, man, when you got HVAC, when you got plumbing, when you got simple basic level electric, so on and so forth, you prepare these kids to be ready for real estate, so on and so forth. So when they go out in the world, they have at least a basic level of hands-on experience. I do know what coding it seems as though, which I don't know everything about it, but I do know an overview of what everybody is saying when it comes to pertaining coding. I just want the kids to understand when you want your kids to learn these things, don't forget to teach them communication as well, because sometimes, you know, people can have all the sense in the world when it's pertaining, you know, what the world is going with technology, so on and so forth, but their communication skills seem to lack in ways. So I just think it has to be a balance.
No, brother, you make a valid point, man. This type of information, you know, we need to be, you know, running to it at this point. We're moving in a different era, a different age. And as Brother Taylor said, man, it's high demand in this field. You know, they constantly push the entertainment aspect sports, and that's all right. If you're an athlete, you're an entertainer, that's your call, and by all means, do what you got to do. But we have all these other avenues and choices and careers that you could partake in that can really change your life for the better. You don't have to, follow the herd. You can be an individual. You can be unique. Have your own perspective and bring something, tangible to the table, man, and really impact the way life is lived on a day to day. A lot of the people that are up right now, your Elon Musk, so many others, trust and believe 10, 15 years ago, they were under the radar. No one knew anything about them, and now look at them. So it's most important. It's a must that you stick to your guns, be a student of the game, always be willing to work on your craft. You're never, you're never too old to learn new information, man. The moment you stop retaining new information, experience, and skills, the moment I believe you start to die off, man. That's how I personally feel about, But listen, man, like I said tonight, I'm so happy and gracious to have everyone on. Positive energy, good brothers on, and they say that we can't do this on YouTube, and we proved them wrong tonight, y'all.
That's real.
And I want to continue to build off this momentum and give information. Each week is going to be a different guest that provide different insight and different experience. So if you want to come here for a dope dialogue conversation, you know what I'm saying, gain new information, man, stop through, pull up, man. Shout out to everyone that was on the panel this evening. Brother Delvon Rooks, would you like to tell the people exactly what you got going on, before we get out of here, how they can find you or get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So my name is Delvon Rooks. I'm the CEO and founder of Deloflix. We actually are a marketing and advertising company specializing in digital solutions. So that's video advertisements. We're talking about also creating digital menus for restaurants, barbershops, hair salons, digital signage software technologies, billboards, and social media management. You can find us at deloflix.com. All of our information is there. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and also we have our own YouTube channel as well, Deloflix.
All right, y'all. Y'all make sure to run over there, subscribe, get informed, get in contact, get in touch to get information, man. You'd be surprised at what you get if you just put forth the effort. You know what I mean? And reach out, man. A lot of these brothers we have here, we've been networking behind the scenes, communicating. Mr. Taylor, through a relative of his, was able to set this up. Shout out to bro for making this happen because, again, we all benefit when we put the information out to the forefront and let the people decide what is best for them, man. And that's what I, aim to do with this platform. So, like I said, Brother Delvon, thank you for coming on, giving your insight. You will be back again. We will definitely have you on to talk, further more about what you got going on.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, I appreciate you. And y'all make sure y'all support Gravity Takeout. Let them know exactly where they can reach you and what you got going on, man.
Yeah, y'all can go over to Gravity Takeout on YouTube. On all platforms is Gravity Takeout, but mostly Gravity Takeout on YouTube is where you can see me on a day-to-day basis. I just try to preach positivity, growth, and speak to the youth on my little platform that I have. But salute to you, brother, for giving me another opportunity to graze your page, man. Blessings to your family.
Hey, man, it's nothing over here, brother. We a fam, it's a network, and we going to support each other. Gems TV, while we got you here this evening, let the people know where they can reach you, where they can find you, and what you got going on, brother.
Gems TV, A7, all caps. That's my YouTube. Gems K the Dream at Instagram.
All right, brother. Any last words, Brother Timothy, before we get up out of here, man?
Just keep doing what y'all doing. Keep aiming for the stars. Whatever that your goals are. Reach for them. My goal is to be at $100 million. In 5 years. It's very doable. And employ 100 people. And just aim for the stars, take that leap, that leap of faith, and just go for it. That's what I did. Even if you have to drop everything at a drop of a dime, man, just do it.
Listen, man, y'all heard him say it. Like I said, tonight was a hell of an episode. Thank you guys for coming on And be sure we'll have more guests on each week. I'm gonna try to do this once a week for you guys, different guests, different perspective. And that's how we're going to do, man. I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can get the latest content as soon as it drops. If you like to support the channel, feel free to reach me at, Forgotten Kings TV. That's with a Z at gmail.com, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a safe evening, and I'll catch y'all at the next one. All right?
All right.
All right, fellas. Peace. Right. Come on, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. Right? This is what I'm talking about. Building. Using our platforms to come together. We're leaders on our own field, man. All these brothers that's on, man, they're solid dudes, man. All the brothers that I support, that I rock with, man, they solid dudes. They go-getters. They hustlers. Like I said, man, another shout out, Machiavelli Media. That's another brother from Baltimore. Shout out, Brother Gab, that I've been building with behind the scenes. He has a platform that specifically talks about Tupac content. So please go over there and subscribe to Machiavelli Media if you haven't already. Stay tuned. We working on something behind the scenes for that. But Baltimore's on. We got a network. We got to come together before I can even start to think about going outside of Baltimore. Again, shout out Gravity Takeout, Royal Sat for the intro music, man. Good brother from Oakland. That's what we about, man. We building over here. Nothing but positivity, energy, raising awareness, having dialogue, great conversation. Shout out to Delvon Rooks for coming on this evening. That's the guy, that's the face of Dello Flicks. We're gonna have him on to talk more about what he does exactly. Dello Flicks and everything that it has to offer. So thank you, brother, for coming on and blessing my panel. Gems TV. Another brother, y'all make sure to go over there and subscribe to his channel, y'all. I'm trying to get this man to 1,000 subscribers. I need y'all help, man. Show the man some love. Gems TV, that's with a Z, 87. Tough Love, another solid brother, man. Every day, works hard. Feeding the streets, blessing y'all with dope commentary, man. Y'all make sure to support these brothers. We have things going on outside our life, man. So for people to take time out of their personal life to provide y'all with dope content, y'all got to support it, man. Y'all got to support it as much as y'all support the negativity. You get what I mean? That's going to offset the balance. And we need that balance, man. We talk about all the negative things so much, but tonight, all about positivity. And y'all showed up. Y'all showed up tonight. I ain't going to lie. I was kind of nervous. I didn't know if y'all was going to show up like y'all did for Hassan Campbell. You know what I mean? People show up for the entertainment, but y'all showed up. Y'all showed out. And I'm forever grateful and appreciative for all the energy that I've been getting with this platform, man. Shout out to everyone that's been reaching out. Shout out Freddie Chico, another good brother. The lady spitting fire. I see you over there, sweetie. She blessing them with the dope content. Frankie Diamonds TV, another solid content creator. Dope brother, man. Y'all gotta support him. It's all black owned over here. We support each other over here. That's what we do. You know what I mean? Tazo TV, another solid brother, man. You feel me? High Minds Think podcast. Y'all subscribe to that. And last but not least, Miss 504, Mouth of the South, man. All dope content creators. Everyone has their own unique perspective, opinion. Again, I understand everyone's not going to like me and everything I do 24 hours. So it's like I got to be around a network of creators and individuals that can provide the content that y'all need. You know what I mean? And last but not least, shout out to everyone that was in the chat tonight, man. I see y'all, and we're going to continue building. That's what we about over here, man. I wanted to say that because it's a lot going on in the media. And we'll say that for another time, right? We'll start doing more live panels to have you guys come on so we can really talk about it. But like I said, y'all, I appreciate y'all. And I promise I ain't going to let you down. I'm a silent assassin. So, yeah, sleep on me if you want to. And you're going to see what happens with the next move. It's going to get bigger and better. I promise you. All right? So with that being said, I love y'all. Make sure y'all eating right, exercising right. Make sure y'all get a good night's rest. And I'll catch y'all at the next one, man. All right? For those who don't know, my name is Sensei Rip. This is Forgotten Kings TV 2.0. Y'all have a good evening, man. I'll catch y'all at the next one. One love.